Coming to you from the Black Swan Media Studios, this is Fireside Chats, talking to the real difference makers in the world. Now, here is your host, John Crump.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. Sorry we're a little bit late. Had a little bit of an issue, technical issues going on, but we got them all worked out and we are here. Just want to tell you, you go visit blackswantactical.com and use code Crumpy for 10% off. Also, we're going to be giving this away soon. All you have to do to enter is to subscribe to the channel and comment on any video, and then you'll be entered. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and bring on the guest. And I see that, people think that I fell asleep out there. No, it was just a little technical issue. But let's bring him on. He is the tank himself from Uncle Sam's Misguided Children. Look, there you go. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Not much, man. So, Uncle Sam's Misguided Children, you are a Marine. But before we get into that, I want to discuss something with you. You are also a survivor of something, survivor of communism, right?
Yeah, I survived 13 years of communism.
Yeah, where at?
Cuba.
So, all right, that brings me to my next question. I'm seeing a lot of these Antifa people running around, and a lot of them are wearing Che Guevara shirts, and I don't think they actually know what the dude stood for.
Yeah, they don't, And, when JC was wearing Che Guevara and Ernesto Guevara and, just socialist people, individuals, it just looks good on a T-shirt, though. That's capitalist for you. Ernesto Guevara was a murderer. He, when Castro took over Cuba, he put him in charge of La Cabaña, which was a prison in Pinar del Rio. And they called him the butcher of La Cabaña. He killed 15,000 Cubans.
Yeah, and he was very, very anti-gay, too. He would kill people just for being gay.
Yeah, he killed homosexual teenagers who were homosexuals. He took pleasure in killing people. Some of the people that survived his reign of terror while he was, killing people, they actually, one of the stories, one of the Cuban gentlemen that I spoke to who lives now in Naples, he's a little old now, but he told me his story that Ernesto Guevara will take him out every single day and put him in, line him up in front of other people that they were going to kill that day, and create that experience that it was going to be his last day, and ended up killing other people, but did not kill him, and then bring him back into the cell. Imagine going through that every day for months, even years, under Ernesto Guevara. I mean, it's just that will destroy, your mental capacity and your physical being.
Why do you think he is romanticized as much as he is?
Because of lies. When you create this poetic legendary fable of an individual, and you push that at propaganda, you'll create that romanticism. You listen, you got people, as some of our criminals in prisons, or some of the individuals like Ted Bundy, for example, that have been in prison. They have had people all around the world send them love letters, and people that want to marry them, women that want to marry them, and throw themselves at their feet. You would think, like, why would you want to marry a cannibal? Why would you marry, mass murder? But there's people that are attracted to that for some sense.
Yeah, it is really, really insane to me of how these people romanticize not only Che but all of communism. And I just don't think they understand what it is. I've been to Eastern Europe. I've seen the ravages of communism. You lived in Cuba. You saw the ravages of communism, and yeah, it's just crazy. One of my favorite shirts. You have a few shirts, Che Guevara shirts, on your website. I just want to bring up one of them here. This is so you see everyone's wearing the Che Guevara shirts. Oh, whoops.
Yeah,
Let me just do it the right way. Oh
exactly.
my goodness.
I like the other one perfectly. I like the only good commie is a dead commie. To be honest with you,
Yeah, that one is good.
that was a good. That was a picture of him actually laying on his deathbed, and
Yeah, they tracked
yeah,
him down. Delta Force actually helped with that.
yep, yeah, and the CIA was a Cuban born. He was the son of a Cuban born. I guess his uncle was murdered by Ernesto Guevara, and he
Yeah,
did not want Ernesto to die. He did not want the
he
CIA
pissed
was
off.
the death of the killing of Ernesto Guevara. They actually wanted him to attend the tribunals and be tried in an actual military court. That way he would not be romanticized. That way he would not have been a martyr, because they
Yeah,
knew if they killed him, he'll become a martyr, and that's exactly what happened. The
yeah,
Bolivian government wanted him dead, and that was it.
yeah. I read a good book by the guy you're talking about, the Cuban book. I can't recall his name, but he wrote a book about. I think it was like Hunting Che, I believe it was,
Right.
and it was a really really good book. And yeah, Hunting Che, that's what it's called.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what it's called.
Hunting Che, how the U.S. Special Forces team helped capture the world's most famous revolutionary. And you're right. He didn't want them to die. That was where he was caught in Bolivia. That was their decision to actually do, um, to kill him. But yeah, so he didn't want him to die. They wanted to stand trial, and they wanted to make it a show trial. That's why they kind of wanted him alive. It wasn't because, hey, it's right to take him alive. It was, we want to put him on stage for the crimes that not only he committed, but Cuba committed. And he committed crimes not only in South America and Central America, but in also Africa too. He was not a good dude.
No, he wasn't. He was a racist too. He thought black people as ignorant animals that all they wanted to do is spend their money on wasteful things. He despised Mexicans. But here's the thing about the culture. You have to understand. See, I'm a Cuban. I understand Hispanic culture. I understand, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Mexicans. We understand one another. We know a lot about each other's culture because we're Hispanic. So it's kind of like, the British and the Australians and the Americans. You kind of know a little bit about each other. Argentinians, for the most part, are very, very discriminated against darker colors, darker skins, even their own native Indians. So Ernesto Guevara, it was Argentinian, and that usually I have not met an Argentinian that is not some form of racist to a certain kind of group. So it's part of the culture, I guess you would say.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Now, you started a t-shirt shop, but before we get into that, because everyone knows you from Uncle Sam's Misguided Children, you were a Marine. You joined the Marines, um, and you are also a legal immigrant. Walk me through why you joined the Marines, and from like your immigration point to joining the Marines. Is your patriotism, did you get that when you first got here, or was that grown over time?
Well, when I was born, and I realized, early ages, that my family was being targeted because we were coming to America. I started to romanticize about the United States of America and what it will be like to live here. I watched the Wild Western movies in Cuba, and the Star Wars. I was big on Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Michael Jackson, all these great music singers of the time. And started romanticizing of that. But also, my uncle, I come at an early age, and he had joined the Marine Corps. I sent pictures of himself back to Cuba, back to the family. So I've seen pictures of him wearing the Marine Corps Blues uniform.
It's an awesome looking uniform. It's like an awesome looking uniform.
Yeah. He was, it was a book. He was a boot camp picture, but he still looked, pretty badass. Now the legend, well, not the legend, but Cubans believe that to join the Marine Corps, you will have to kill one of your siblings, to become a Marine. So that's the kind of thought that the communist government will teach in our schools system, indoctrinate the Cuban kids to make them believe the American military will have to kill one of their siblings to join the military. But anyways, besides the point, in 1988, we were given the opportunity to finally legally leave the country. And as we were attending the American embassy, filling up our paperwork, there was a United States Marine standing in front of the doors of the American embassy with an M16 in his dress blues. And I looked at my father and I said to him, Dad, when we get to the United States, will I also become a United States Marine? And my dad looked at me and said, when you get to the United States, you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah, that is awesome. I think a lot of people who are born in the United States have this. I don't know how to describe it, but they have this way to them that they don't realize how much freedom that we have in the country.
Yeah, when people don't know what real oppression is like, when people don't know what real tyranny is like, it's hard to compare what your freedoms are like, right? It's hard to compare, what is your living qualities, your lifestyle qualities that you have today. How would you know what's harder than or worse than if you have never experienced it? So it's really difficult from that point of view. And we have done the American educational system, academia has done a poor job explaining what communism is, what socialism is, how many people have died through communism, but they have done a really good job explaining, teaching fascism, and they have put fascism next to alt-right or the right wing, so to speak. But we could definitely go into depth with that, into very much detail. But that's our biggest problem right there is that a lot of young people for the last 30 years or 3 generations have a really ignorant, or I would say poor misconception of what communism or socialism is really like. I mean, we actually have actors who have gone to Venezuela and have defended Hugo Chavez dictatorship. You know what I mean?
Also in Cuba, Michael Moore went to Cuba and talked about how great Cuba is, and their propaganda tools. Communism have killed over 100 million people. If you look at like Mao, his Great Leap Forward, where he starved his people, or the Red Terror in Russia, where they killed everyone off. Stalin, communism isn't that good at all. That's why I like a lot of your sites here. Sorry, my phone started going off. I like a lot of the shirts on your site because you take a hard stand against communism and for things that a lot of other people wouldn't take a stand on because they would be worried that they're going to get protested or the cancel culture. What made you decide that you wanted to go in that direction where you want to be like unapologetically American, unapologetically patriotic?
Well, when I came in this country, I came in 1988, and in 1993, I joined the Marine Corps. I was only 17. I was the youngest Marine in the Marine Corps. So imagine, just imagine for a second, you're 13 years old, you come to America, you barely speak English, you graduate high school early, and you join the Marine Corps at 17 because you couldn't wait. So I graduated high school early because I couldn't wait to become a Marine. And during that period, early 90s, the what I remember as America was very unapologetic. Americans were very apologetic in those days, and I loved every minute of it. Very much shoot from the hip kind of people, especially if you knew people from New York. I mean, we actually had this stereotypes of people from different places. I don't know if you remember watching some of the comedians in those days, like Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was very non-politically correct. Eddie Murphy could not get away with one of his stand-up comedy shows today. All right, and that's a fact. For some of the things he said about the LGBT community, or different things. I don't know if you've seen some of his stand-up shows, but
Eddie Murphy raw.
Yeah,
raw.
Yeah. That he would have been canceled. Right? So it was a different. That's the kind of era that I grew up in my teenage years. I joined the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps is very non-apologetic in those days. Very non-politically correct. We did not have an open society when it came to the LGBT. We still had the don't ask, don't tell. And we knew, here's the thing, we knew individuals who were homosexuals or whatever, and we still respected them. So this idea that we would disrespect her or nothing, I literally bunked bed with a roommate who was a homosexual, and we got along just fine. I knew he was gay. Nobody cared. Nobody gave a damn about it. You know what I'm saying? So, but, they pushed that idea, once, later on. But anyways, going back to that, very non-apologetic. Two Light Crew came out. I mean, different rappers. I don't know if you remember when the rap industry start popping off, the Lynch Mob, Wu-Tang Clan, all these different groups, right? Very, very, a lot of profanity in those days, right? Very, very in your face kind of language. So that's what I remember about being American. And nobody got offended about nothing. We had a movie called White Men Can't Jump. Do you remember that? White Men Can't Jump? I mean, we had different movies popping up left and right that were in today's climate will not show up on TV. So
even if you were offended, you didn't say, I want this person gone.
Right. And here's a beautiful thing too, man. A lot of the rap, because I love music. I love all kinds of music. I love rap. I love rock and roll. I love classic rock. I love country music. I love all music, man. I'm a very music type of person, man. I don't know if it's my Cuban culture, but I just love music, right? So in those days, hip hop rap was, you actually can understand what they were saying, right? And second, they didn't use a lot of the N-word. They were not very much used of the N-word every 5 sentences, the N-word. So it was just a different climate, man. And I don't know how did we went from here to there, but I wish I could turn back the time and say, let's go back to this era. This is a cool era. Everybody got along. Everybody, we still had the Rodney King riot. We had problems in America. We're not perfect. That's the thing that a lot of people think. America's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But if you travel the world, you see the rest of the world, we done a damn really good job of taking care of one another. And the time that you see the true colors of the American spirit is when we get into a challenge or into a problem, like a hurricane or a tornado or something drastic. That's when you see the true color of the American fabric coming together as a unit. Black, white, Hispanic, doesn't matter. Everybody comes together and help one another. It doesn't care what your religion is or where you come from, right?
Yeah. September 12th, 2001.
Yep.
The day after 9/11, everyone was together and everyone came together. It seems like we've come so far from there that now everyone's just at each other's throats all the time.
Yeah, the media. I mean, the media, the propaganda. You inject enough device and just propaganda and lies and fake news enough to you re-educate three generations through academia, make them believe that that America is evil, that they need to hate themselves, that all the symbols that make America great, like our national anthem and the American flag, are evil, right? So when you have three generations hating themselves, what do you expect? It doesn't matter what you tell them. It doesn't matter what good we have done as a nation. They hate themselves so much, they're willing to destroy it all,
Yeah, I want to play a little bit of a video here just to get your opinion on. Are you familiar with the guy named uh, Bersky? Yuri Bedminstov?
Yep.
Okay, well, I don't have to play the video.
The KGB, yep.
The KGB guy. If you don't know, the video's on there, so we're not going to play the video. If you know what it is, he talked about that. He talked about three generations, that you would have to brainwash three generations, and control three generations. He did three different steps, and one of the steps was that was actually the first step.
Yep.
And if you look at it, they don't teach civics in school anymore.
Nope.
You have stuff like March for Our Lives out there. There's like a couple of students, football players, ran out into the field. One had a thin blue line flag, American flag, and one had a thin red line for the fire department. They did that because it was the game after 9/11, so they wanted to, honor the fallen officers,
right?
Firefighters. Those students have now been suspended,
right,
because they offended people with the American flag, and the school doing that and not teaching civics and the March for Our Lives. I look at what he was saying, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I think he was dead on at that point.
Yeah, he's percent. See, but we have failed where we have failed, and this is why it's going to continue. It's going to continue worse because we have failed punishing those who break their oath to the Constitution. So individuals that are allowed to suppress freedom of speech, let other people have their freedom of speech, and then suppress others. Okay, we have let them do that. Okay, through academia, in our military, in various forms, in sports, in music, you name it, right? When we have and even in our own societies, even in protest, we have seen this where one side is allowed to do whatever they want, and the other side has to play by the rules, right? Yeah. We have allowed to do that. We have not used some of our agencies that defend our constitutional rights to punish those oath breakers, whether it's police officers, whether it's professors, whether it's politicians, mayors, governors, etc. We actually have laws in place to protect us and to stand by our constitutional rights, but we haven't done so. Donald Trump has the power of, I think, a agency that is stand for those rights. It's like the civil liberty department. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Civil rights, right?
Yeah. FBI.
Yeah.
Civil rights.
Yeah, he has an agency. You know what I'm talking about. He has an agency. He can therefore put that agency to work on our behalf and defend and start going after punishing those that break their oath.
Yeah, we were texting back and forth the other day, and one of the things we were texting about was something helicopter rides.
Yeah.
Which I think was kind of funny. So I'm going to bring this up. Let's see if I can bring it up. See, no, it didn't work there. So we both have shirts of helicopter rides where they threw communists out of helicopters. And one of the shirts, my favorite shirt on your site, trying to get it up here, but it's not working.
We're going to have to send you some shirts, brother.
Yeah.
We're going to have to hook you up. We're going to have to send you a bunch of shirts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love your guys' shirts. I mean, you guys have some great
We're
shirts.
gonna have to hear about the shirts, and maybe you could give some shirts away in your giveaway or something.
Oh, that would rock. But my favorite, my favorite shirt, one of the favorite shirts that you have. What the hell? Technical difficulties all today. I have no idea what's going on. I don't
You
think they
got
like.
you got the Pentagon NSA on you, man.
Yeah,
Really now.
here. Let me. There we go. Yeah, there we go. This right here is incredible. I love it. Free helicopter rides. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on this so I can see what you guys. It's like one of the things that I love. Antifa removal service of my service because I don't know if you know, but I'm on the Antifa hit list.
Yeah, I guess me and you are both on the Antifa hit list.
Yeah, they actually
They
have a list, and they're like,
yeah.
"This guy's a fascist." I'm like, "I'm not a fascist. What are you talking about?" But they put me on their hit list, and during the 2A rally, they were down there at Richmond, so I went and found them. The exact people that put me on the hit list, and for some reason, they didn't want to talk to me. It might have been because I was heavily armed with four other heavily armed people. But they didn't want to answer my question like, oh, we don't know. We don't know why you're on that list. This is kind of funny. So I
Yeah.
love your anti-Antifa shirts. Let's get into the website, man. How'd you decide to do a website and sell T-shirts?
Well, first I started with I just wanted to listen. In 2009, when I saw the growing support for communism, and I'm seeing the true colors of the Democratic Party, when I'm seeing campaign offices with the flags of Ernesto Guevara in their offices and communist symbols, I realized then that we had a problem. We
And
actually had
it's not an exaggeration. There was actually a video from they were doing like a going through a Bernie Sanders campaign office, and they had a big, huge picture of Che like
Yep.
in the actual office.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go
Yeah.
ahead.
And this is back in 2009. This was not Bernie Sanders. This was for Obama.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's been
and then
going
I
on.
found out, did some research, and I found out that we have in America, right, a actual nonprofit organization that takes donations from foreign governments and other entities called the Communist Party of America. And I realized, I find out the Communist Party of America had endorsed Barack Hussein Obama. So at that point, man, then I saw some story about some kids that these teachers had taken out of the class and have made some type of song about Obama, and they were singing a song about Obama outside
That
of
was
school.
scary.
Yeah, and that gave me flashbacks of me living in communism and having to sing songs about Fidel Castro. So right there, I was like, I got to do something. I got to share my experience. I got to let the people know. Now, one of the reasons I joined the Marine Corps, not only because I love the Marine Corps uniform and because my family members have been Marines themselves, is because the Marine Corps has a long history of fighting tyranny and oppressive systems, especially communism. Chesty Puller, John Basilone, you name some of the greatest heroes and legendary heroes. They don't teach that in schools. You'll never find a school that teach about our military heroes. What school in America actually takes the time to teach about our military heroes? And we have a lot. We have a lot of military heroes who have done amazing things from all walks of life, all different types of religions, some, even atheist military heroes. So we don't talk about them. We don't talk about some of their good deeds and what they have done to award the Medal of Honor, etc. But anyways, besides, going back to my topic, I'm once a Marine, always a Marine. So the Marine mentality in me kicked in and said, I need to express my views. I need to share my message, but I'm gonna create a platform or a page that I could do that. So I created Uncle Sam's Misguided Children. And when I created Uncle Sam's Misguided Children as an acronym of the United States Marine Corps, that's actually a nickname derived by United States Marine Corps, a nickname given to us by the media back in World War One, the beginning of World War One, when they call us, children of Uncle Sam's or Uncle Sam's misguided children. And in those days, actually, it was a compliment. Marines took it as a compliment. All right, we are a little misguided. We're not like everybody else. It wasn't like misguided in a bad way. It was misguided more like, we have to be a little bit misguided to be Marines, right? So I took that acronym and I created a platform to share and not only share my experience, but educate people about different things that our school system was lacking. And this went viral, super viral, in about 3 months, 6 months on Facebook. We went up to 614,000 followers. So this
second. We'll get into Facebook and Instagram in a second.
All right.
Oh, by the way, the Rogue Banshee says that we don't teach, we program.
That's right.
Do you mind if we show the video, just a little clip of the video of the kids? Because I don't think a lot of people saw that.
I'm just here to be a fly on the wall.
No, man, you're the star of the show.
Oh man, it's your show, bro. You're doing a great job. I love it.
If you look at this, watch this. Wait, just turn the volume up here.
Obama's gonna change it. Obama's gonna lead.
This is scary.
It's scary, man.
Change it and rearrange it.
I just go through. But this is like stuff you see in like North Korea or communist China. I don't want to play too much of that. It'll get me too upset. But yeah, even that stuff that you were seeing, like North Korea or communist China or any of these places. So go ahead with your story. I just wanted people to know what you're referencing.
Right. But see, that's a problem right there. There's two problems we deal with this message. There's 2 points that I like to add into your show right now, because there are 2 points that we struggle with to actually tell the truth about. The one point is that fascism and communism is the same thing. They're both part of the left line, not part of the right line, part of the left. And how is that? How is that, Tank? How you asked me that question. How could you say that, right? Fascism, right, is National Socialism.
Yeah.
It's still a socialist. They control, government controls everything, controls company, corporations, education, healthcare, et cetera, et cetera. Socialism, right? Go ahead.
The fascism formed and communism formed basically. There was the Italian Socialist Party,
right?
Mussolini was involved in, and everyone else was involved in. There was a split, and out of the split, you got the Italian communist and the Italian fascist, which Mussolini was. And the whole thing of left and right wing was a guy writing in the paper about the split said that they are the left and right wing of the Italian Socialist Party. That's how they became left and right wing. And it looks like people just forgot about the second part, where it says of the Socialist Party.
Right. So we are stuck in time, not able to really show history and really explain. Like, look at the policies. If this is right wing, right? If you say this is right wing, then how come National Socialism stands for this and this and this and this? Look at the policies, right? Right. The farther you go right, the more freedom you want. The far right to me is pure anarchy. That is far right to me. Okay. Far left to me is what we're going to right now. Fascism, intimidation, et cetera, et cetera, lack of freedom of speech, the government take over of your property, et cetera, et cetera. So we are stuck in time, John. We're stuck in time in that. The second one where we have a problems in America is the so-called switch.
So when you explain that and you get over that bump, then you go back into, well, there was a switch, you know, there was a Republicans, the Republicans choose the Democrats again. Once again, let's talk about policies, right?
Great myth.
Change, right? Go ahead.
The great myth.
Right. So those are the two ones, man, that the Democrats or the media, Facebook, social media, everything in general, even if you go to Google and search these items, you're not going to get the truth. And whoever's searching these items with an open mind as a young person who's trying to educate themselves, if they go into a Google swamp of fake history or lies, they're going to get the wrong answer. And they're going to believe that answer because it's Google, because this is what they're thinking that it should be correct. And that's a problem, and that's a huge problem we have.
Yeah, we're letting these huge companies control what we think. Okay, I'm gonna bring up a shirt, and I know it's kind of might be a little a sore spot for you right now. It is for me, at least. So I'm sure it's gonna be for you. And here it is.
You need that one, man. You definitely need that one.
Yeah, well, I got the Facebook death sentence.
In orange. I need to send you that one in orange. So, you know, you'll look good on it.
Yeah, I got the Facebook death sentence. And you got the Instagram death sentence.
I got it all. I got Facebook too, man. I can't log into Facebook either. So.
Yeah, there's some movement on that. Our friend Rob was working on something all day today, so that's all I'm going to say. You can read between the lines on that. People don't know who Rob is out there, but I'm sure you'll find out soon.
Yeah, we have the social media, these giants have been taken over by departments of people that support communist ideals, and they have no idea what they're talking about. This is we're talking about 3 generations, right? So you got these young, vibrant, really smart, digital era, young people.
I worked at Facebook.
Yeah, they believe in their mindset that socialism and communism has not been tried, that they should give it another try, another roll, Well,
what they always say is real communism has never been tried.
Right.
Like, because they can't get to real communism before.
Right. Communism, the Socialist Manifesto, Karl Marx actually wrote a sci-fi book. He actually wrote this book should be in the sci-fi section. It's really just a, what do you call it? Sci-fi book, fantasy. A fantasy. It's really a fantasy book for young kids or whatever. It shouldn't be used as a real ideology. And the reason being, and we have heard this before, I'm sure you have heard this before, John, is because humans like to own things, and humans like to own things that they work hard for.
Yeah, imagine that. It's really funny how there's people over there that says you need to give up your money and give it to me, because if you don't, you're greedy. And I'm thinking to myself, who's the greedy one? It's like, hey, this is mine, so I will give it out as I please. Or the person who says, you have that, I want that, you have to give it to me, you have no choice. Who's
right?
How do we get to the point where the guy who just wants to keep what he's earned is the greedy one, and the person that wants to take what that guy earned with no work is the one who's who's generous? I don't get it.
Right. Yeah, it's obvious, and people who believe this, actually, like my question to them is like, there's nowhere in communism that tells you that greed will be abolished. There's nowhere in communism that will tell you that corruption will be removed. Communism doesn't tell you that. It doesn't guarantee you any of that. So humans will still be greedy. Humans will still be corrupt in one way or form. And
as long as they have the power of communism, they control your assets, they control, your guns, your way to fight back, et cetera, et cetera. They own everything. They have all the control over you, because you gave it to them.
Yeah, it's really sad. And I when I worked at Facebook, I tried to teach these kids and tell these kids about it, but it was like they don't want to hear it. They know better than you. They know what real communism is, and real communism hasn't been tried, and all this other stuff. And it's like it has been tried over and over and over again, and it always fails. It's like what is the definition of insanity? Doing something over and over again that in the same way and expecting a different result. And I don't know, and I think it has a lot to do with the education system. We keep on going back to the education system, but it cannot be said enough. Like, the top educators in the country are all controlled by a group called BAM, by any means necessary, which is basically it's like a Soros front group that funds like all the Antifa groups.
Right.
And I don't know what the solution is. How do we get people out of there? I think school vouchers and homeschooling is one way. Get kids in the private school, because I think the public school is just like a pit. And that's why I send my kids to private school, because public schools are just like a pit,
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. Let me tell you a little bit about Cuba, man. I still got family there. When I was growing up in Cuba, man, my dad would have to leave. My dad was going to be a doctor, and my dad was about to graduate medical school. And when he was about to graduate medical school, he's last week of medical school. He had to write a letter to somebody outside the country. So my dad, being so naive, he wrote a letter to his sister in New York, because we have family here that had come in early stages. And he wrote a letter to my aunt, telling her how bad the country was, how the life qualities of Cuba under communism was like. The letter went to the principal. As soon as it happened, my dad was taken out of school and was beaten, just like, lynched. He was lynched. His clothes was taken off his body. He was almost put on a tree, almost hung. They put him in the back of the car, bleeding. They beat him up with bats, whatever, and they drove him around the city of Santiago de Cuba with a sign on him calling him Gusano and traitor. My grandmother every weekend she would come to bring him food, and she stopped by the bus station. She found him naked, almost dead in the bus station in one of the bleachers. So that was my father's story behind that. But so my father lost his opportunities in having a career in Cuba at the time, being that he wanted to come to America, and then so the only jobs he could get was the worst jobs available. So he would have to leave for 6 months of construction. My mom was left at home with me and my little sister, and we had no food. And I'm telling you, we had no food. We had no food. The refrigerator was completely empty. And my mom, to put us to sleep, because we were hungry, she will put a glass of sugar. That was my dinner, a glass with sugar to close the appetite. And then in the morning, we didn't have nothing to eat either. She would give us coffee. Think about this. You're an 8-year-old child, 7-year-old child, drinking espresso coffee early in the morning, and that was your breakfast, because it suppresses your appetite. So, I mean, those are the expectancies of Cuba today. And now you can't even find coffee in Cuba. You know what I'm saying? So, right now in Cuba, things are so bad that the government,
they're so good.
The government, the food scarce in Cuba is so bad that the government is enticing people that if you give blood, if you get a pint or 2 pints of blood, they'll give you 1 pound of meat, 1 pound of beef. All right. See, Cuba still has some of the best doctors and some of the best hospitals. That's why people talk about it. And a lot of tourists go to Cuba to get medical, they gave plastic surgeries, et cetera, right? And they pay good money for it. But
they don't realize that the normal Cubans don't get the same.
Nope. So that blood that they're taking away from the Cubans, they're giving it to the tourists, for their surgery, or whatever they may need. It's pretty sad, man. The hospitals have no infrastructure, no air conditioning. There's flies. If you go to a hospital in Cuba, you're gonna die. There's no it's not clean, man. There's no clean water running, no water clean running. Anything is sterile. It's pretty much a death sentence. You're gonna die. If you get cancer in Cuba, you're gonna die. There's no medicine, etc. My mom has to go every year to take aspirin and just medication over the counter that we get. And this is a beautiful thing about capitalism, John. You can right now you can walk outside your home and go to a CVS pharmacy. You could go to all these different pharmacies that are literally like minutes away from your house. You can go to all these fast food places that are minutes away from your house. You have all these, just bountiful things, ice cream, right? You think about ice cream. How many flavors of ice cream can you go to the grocery store and name? Can you actually name every single company that creates ice cream in America? Only in America, only capitalism,
Yeah, capitalism has raised more people out of poverty than any other thing on the planet. And for them to want to kill, like these groups that want to kill capitalism, it's just mind-boggling to me. It's just the level of air. They have like a air of arrogance to them when they speak, like they know better than you. I've had Dr. Miguel Faria on here, and him and his family escaped from Cuba. And he wrote a couple books. One of his books is about his escape from Cuba. It's very, very interesting. His mom and dad were when the old Cuban government got overthrown. You had the communists, and then you had the anti-communists who wanted the dictator to get out of office. Well, when they won, the communists started taking out the anti-communists. So he and his dad got chased, and they had to like hide in houses and everything, and escape from Cuba. One of the things that I always like to say is, if communism is so great, then why do all these communist countries force their citizens to stay and won't let them leave?
Right.
It's just
why. Right. Or John, why so many people from communist countries risk their lives in shark-infested water or thousands miles away to come to United States of America? Not India, not Australia, not other places in the world, but the United States of America. Not Mexico, not Canada, the United States of America. They're willing to pack themselves like sardines inside of one of these big, huge containers with months and months on sea with nothing but crackers, a little bit of water, and hopefully they make it. And they pay like $30,000 to $50,000 per head to come to the United States of America from communist countries. I don't see Americans doing that. I don't see anybody in America. I don't see anybody, any Antifa member, any Black Lives Matter jumping into shark-infested water to escape to Cuba. Not a single one of them is doing that.
No, you're exactly right. And if you look at Venezuela, they're eating damn zoo animals.
Yeah. Now there's no zoo animals left, John. They're all gone. They're all gone now, man. They ate them all. It's all gone, man.
Yeah, and it's scary. And you have like people like Sean Penn, who was praising Hugo Chavez and Maduro. And in the same time, there's the citizens of Cuba are suffering, and not Cuba, of Venezuela are suffering. And it's just like, I don't know.
No water. Think about it. No water. They're literally drinking sewer water, man. They were drinking kids picking up sewer water from the street, man, to drink and to bath. Eating from a garbage truck, bro. Like you talking about hunger. Like you people, and that's why I made sure the other day I put a tweet out and I said, if you're a fat person, right, and you love food, you should not be supporting socialism or communism in any shape or form, okay? Because you're not going to have none of that fast food stuff, when it happens. So, that's what I said, because I love food. Like, I love food, man. I love food. That's one of my biggest things. I love food. And I love my refrigerator I have 2 refrigerators of my own, and I have to have always packed with meat, always packed with ice cream, always packed with deli stuff. I just love having so much quality of food, man, so much better quality of life than living in any socialist nation, any communist nation. And even if you're poor, here's the thing about this country. Even if you're poor, like the other day, this weekend, we were in North Carolina. We stopped by McDonald's at 6:00 in the morning. They right before I opened, this black lady came to my truck and she asked me, "Hey, I'm not asking you for money, but can you buy me some food?" And I said, "Hell yeah, I'll buy you some food." And right there, man, I got her like two what do you call the little sandwich meals.
Yeah.
And I
Whatever they
yeah.
are.
Yeah, and I did more for Black Lives Matter that morning than Black Lives Matter has ever done for their entire community since they have started. But that's the beauty of capitalism, man. That you have all these gateways and be able to help other people because you have the finances and the ability to do so.
Yeah. It is. Being a capitalist doesn't mean that you're cold-hearted and you're not going to give money or whatever. I should choose who gets the money. I should be able to look at the organizations and say, "Hey, I think I should donate to them." Doesn't mean you're not going to donate. It means that you want control over who gets the money that you do donate.
Right.
And if you look at the studies, Republicans, they did a study where they showed like how much Republicans donate versus Democrats. And Republicans actually donated like twice as much as Democrats, which I thought was funny. And they call us greedy and call conservatives and libertarians greedy. It's not greedy. It's we just want to be able to control who gets our money. And I mean, I don't know, man. It's just I think we're on the same page with a lot of this stuff. And I sense that you're as frustrated with people as I am.
I'm very frustrated with, I'm frustrated, but at the same time, I know what's coming, man. I've been preaching this for a long time, and enjoy what we got while we have it, but eventually the pedal has to tip. There has to something to give away. We have 3 generations of people that want to destroy this country, and they're not going to stop. Nothing's going to stop them from doing so. No facts, no better education. They have already gone to that place where there's no coming back, man. How do you change the mind of a communist? How do you change the mind of a socialist? You can't, man.
So you give them a helicopter ride.
Right, free helicopter rides, bro. Only good commie's a dead commie, bro.
Yeah, better dead than red.
Better red. Imagine the sacrifice. Imagine all of our veterans that have fought communists worldwide. Our national cemeteries are filled with the bodies of veterans who have fought communism. Imagine what would they say today?
Yeah, communism couldn't win from the outside, so it's trying to win from the inside. Yep. Chris Shoemake says we should start a GoFundMe for all the people who don't like America and move them to a communist country. Then Pasta says you are spot on. A lot of people are agreeing with us.
Yeah, John, check this out. And for your listeners as well, I had a great idea not too long ago about a real cool reality TV show. And I said to myself, I said, look, man, I put down $1 million, right? $1 million winner, right? To send a group of Antifas to Venezuela. But here's the deal, right? Here's the deal, right? Or Cuba. Pick your socialist country, North Korea, Cuba, or Venezuela. Okay. The winner gets $1 million. Reality TV, okay, pay-per-view. Everybody gets to see this whole show every single week. So you take this group of Antifa or communists that support communism in America, and you take away their passport. You say, look, we take your naturalization, we take your citizenship, we take your passport, and we dump you in one of these countries. All right. You have, till this date, you have 3 months to escape and come back to the United States of America. And if you do so, you win $1 million. Okay? You got 3 months to get ahead out of Dodge and come back to America. You might like it there. You might decide, you know what? I really like communism. I'm going to stay here because I love it so much. But we'll give you the exit strategy. We tell you 3 months. Now, here's the rule. You cannot ask anybody in America to help you. You got to do it yourself. Okay. So no external help from outsiders. Okay. You have to leave the country, escape on your own means. And good luck. Wish you good luck. And I said, closing your back, no money, no nothing. Just you close your back, and I wish you the best and see what happens. I guarantee you that if they're not in jail, in prison in their first week, or dead by the first week, it's a miracle. I guarantee you in 30 days, they're literally begging to come back to America.
Yeah, the people in the chat, they all like your idea. Yeah, freaking China still has concentration camps.
Yep. China has concentration camps. North Korea has concentration camps. Cuba has concentration camps. Venezuela has concentration camps. So
yeah, they call them re-education camps, but they're concentration camps.
They have both. They have the ones that they kill people in, and then have the re-education camps as well.
Yeah, in fact, the Disney movie Mulan was filmed right outside a concentration camp, and you can actually see it in the movie, part of the concentration camp. And in the credits, they actually thank the concentration camp for their help. And it's like, dude, you just thank the concentration camp. So there's like this big backlash against Disney. But I think in this case, I'm not really for backlashes, but if you film a movie at a concentration camp or near a concentration camp, and then you thank them in the credits, you're just pure effing evil.
Yeah, no, that's another thing we have a problem in America, with this, after the 3 generations, is the Chinese government has too much control of a lot of our corporations, and just a lot of power, and between corporations, the sports, et cetera, et cetera. We gave them too much, and and now they have come knocking. Now they're coming to pay that, to get that debt paid. That's why you have sports supporting Marxism. That's why you have all these commercials and advertisement for Marxism supported by some of these corporations, because they have a lot of money invested in China, and China makes the last call. So it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, it is. All right, man. Well, it's been an hour. I'm gonna give my plugs, and I'm gonna let you give out your plugs, and you get the final word. Subscribe and comment for a chance to win this as the Man X10 Elite. This is, I don't know, man. Tank, if you ever want to improve shooting, this is what to do it with. It's like the Tesla of gun stuff. Basically, you put it on your gun, and it monitors all your movements like 10,000 times a second, and gives you feedback right to your phone.
Help you become a better shooter?
Tremendously. Everyone that I know that's used this, and I'm not saying this, I've used it before before they gave me this to give away.
Right.
I've been using for this stuff for like 4 years now, ever since the first Amanda's came out, and Yeah, they have something called a Blackbeard, which actually goes in your AR. So it
Huh.
helps you dry fire your AR, and it resets the trigger and everything. So
Really?
especially with ammo shortages, when you dry fire your AR, it has like a little laser, so it works for the program. So you set up the target, and you can dry fire your AR. The little laser goes, it resets the trigger, so you don't have to come off the trigger to charge the gun or anything like that. But the gun and the battery gets automatically there, and it's just it's an awesome thing.
Very,
So
very cool, man. Okay,
check
I'd
it
like to see a video of that. And do you have any type of content? Make sure you send it to me so I'll be able to check it out. And I also want to invite you to my podcast. So you have, I really, it's an honor being part of your podcast, man. We hooked up through one of our contacts on Facebook, but I can't say that I've had a lot of fun and really enjoy your just your friendship and this type of relationship we're having right now.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, the complaint. You know what I'm talking about is getting filed.
All right. All right.
All right. Yeah. So also, I just want to say, if you go to Black Swan Tactical and use code Crumpy, you get 10% off. And my website's crumpy.com. You can find all my stuff there. And I am going to give you the final and last word. Oh, yeah, by the way, visit my Patreon at patreon.com/John Crump. All the funds from the Super Chats, the Patreon, the sales on Black Swan Tactical, all that stuff goes to my niece who is suffering from DIPG, which is a former childhood brain cancer. And it's a very, very expensive thing. Through my book sales and everything else, we were able to raise enough money to get her a puppy. That's what she's always wanted. That was her make a wish. A puppy, so we got her a puppy, and it's kind of expensive for her treatments. But with the help of the 2A community, we've been doing great at helping them out. But yeah, all right, you're up.
All right. Well, thank you, John. I really appreciate you, man, having you in your show. Guys, just visit UncleSamHasGotAChildren.com. We do have a blog. We've been around for quite some time. We do have a columnist manager. When John is done with this great podcast, hopefully he'll send me the link to it, and we'll have him interview with our columnist manager to write an article and to push it through our following on social media, Facebook, etc. You can follow me right now on Instagram, Uncle Sam's Nation. Uncle Sam's Nation on Instagram. For right now, that's pretty much where I'm at for the moment. And also Twitter, Uncle Sam's Nation, as well as on Twitter. But yeah, just go to UncleSamHasGotAChildren.com, and you can type the news section, read some of the articles, the blogs that we write about. And also we have Uncle Sam Has Got a Children YouTube podcast.
Yeah. The link is actually in the email I sent you earlier.
Awesome.
Oh. Yeah, you have all that. All right, guys. I don't think I have a show tomorrow scheduled because I got like a Boy Scout meeting for my son. I thought it was today, so I wore this. Then I realized it was Tuesday instead of Wednesday.
It's Taco Tuesday, man. Taco Tuesday. Don't mess with Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, I definitely won't.
Come down here, bro. You got to come down here and shoot with us, man. You got to come down here with a bunch of rednecks out here in the swamp.
Oh man, dude. This morning, my local, they have a gun manufacturer called Sterling Arsenal. They called up and they got, we're rebuilding some crinks, fully automatic. You want to come shoot it with us? I was like, I'll be over in a second. I'm over there shooting machine guns today. I was like, damn, don't say, hey, do you want to come shoot machine guns? The answer is always yes.
That's right. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, I'd definitely come down and shoot with you guys. All right, guys.
You have fun.
I'll see you later. I'm going to drop the video and we are out.